Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tally. Happy Vlogmas Day 22. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing my most anticipated books for the year 2021. It is a long list, so grab yourself some coffee. I do have some coffee. Pretty long list, and I mixed it up a little. So I have romance, I have nonfiction, I have fiction, I have YA, fantasy, YA, Latinx authors, of course, also books written by Black authors. So we're going to start out with fantasy. Fantasy is a genre that I completely fell in love with this year, and because of Cassandra Clare and the Infernal Devices series. And the first one is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book of the Last Hours series, and the first one is Chain of Gold. Beautiful book, beautiful characters. You guys have heard me say that Cassandra Clare has an amazing way of creating these amazing characters, so I'm very excited for that book. Expected publication for this book is on March 2nd, and I'm so excited to read it. So the second one is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This book will be released on February 9th, and it follows 16-year-old Decca, who awaits the blood ceremony to determine if she will become a member of her village. She is different from everyone else, and she prays for red blood, because if she does not have red blood, that means that she will have some consequences and maybe even death. The third one is Cazadora by Romina Gerber. This will be released on August 17th, so we have a while for it to come out. I just finished reading Lobisona and I completely liked it. I rated it a 4 just because it was slow, it wasn't fast-paced as I expected it to be, and the ending was just very predictable. But don't get me wrong, I am very excited to read what happens next. Written in Starlight by Isabel Ibanez. This will be released on January 26th. Hopefully I'm able to read Woven in Moonlight first. The author did mention that it is not required to read Woven in Moonlight in order for you to read Written in Starlight, but she did mention that you will be able to enjoy the books more if you do read Woven in Moonlight first. The next book is Infinity Reaper by Adam Silvera, and of course I need to read Infinity Sun first because that's the first book of the series, and it will be out on March 2nd. The Mirror Season by Anna Marie McLemore. It will be released on March 16th. It follows two teens who discover they were sexually assaulted at the same party. They develop a cautious friendship through her family's possibly magical pasteleria. Locke has no memory of what happened to him that night, but Graciela knows that their survival depends on uncovering what really happened. That one, I just read the synopsis for it and I was just very excited to read it. It sounds very gripping. Next genre is romance, and the first one is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is the author of Beach Read, and it will be released on May 11th. So this follows Poppy and Alex, who are very different. They are best friends and live apart, but every summer they go on vacation for a whole week. Their friendship eventually ends and they stop speaking until someone asks her when was the last time she was happy, and she automatically thinks when she was with her best friend. So she decides to convince him to go on a last trip together. So this is a book about friendship, romance, of course. The next book, it is Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne, and she is the author of The Hating Game, and it will be released on April 13th. It follows Ruthie, who has worked at the front desk of a luxury retirement villa for 6 years, taking care of the residents. She's forgotten that she's young and beautiful and that there's a world outside her work until she meets the son of the property developer who just acquired the retirement center. The Lost Manuscript by Kathy Bonneton, and it will be released on January 12th. It's just a novel about the love of books and magical ability that they have to bring people together. The next book is Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant, and this will be released on January 5th. So it follows 16-year-old Tessa, who has never felt like the protagonist in her own life. When Tessa is accepted into the creative writing program of a prestigious art school, she's excited to finally let her story shine. But when she goes to her first workshop, the words are just gone. Next genre is YA Contemporary. The first book is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas, and it will be released on January 12th. It follows Maverick Carter, who is the son of a former gang legend. He starts stealing for the King Lords, and with that money he obtains, he can help his mom, who works 2 jobs, and his father and his father in prison. And this is the same author of The Hate You Give. This is another book that is on my TBR, and I'm hopefully able to read it next year. It's A Revolution by Renee Watson. It will be released on February 2nd, and Renee Watson is an amazing author. I did read a book by her this year, and it was piecing me together. I learned so much with this book, and I absolutely loved it, so I definitely want to read more of her work. And Love is a Revolution. It follows a love story about not only a romantic relationship, but how a girl finds herself and falls in love with who she really is. In this book, plus-size girls are beautiful and get the attention of the hot guys. The popular girl clique is not shallow, but has strong convictions and substance. The next book is What Beauty There Is by Corey Anderson. This is a YA thriller and mystery, and it will be released on January 7th. It follows Jack Morton, who has nothing left but his younger brother. With their mother gone and their funds quickly dwindling, Jack needs to make a choice: lose his brother to foster care or find the drug money that sent his father to prison. He chooses the money. Next is Roman and Jewel by Diana L. Davis. This will be released on January 5th, and it is a contemporary YA, and it follows Jersey James, who will do anything to land the lead role in Broadway's hottest new show, Roman and Jewel, a Romeo and Juliet inspired hip-hop era featuring a diverse cast and modern twist on the play. Next book is Fat Chance, Charlie Vega by Crystal Maldonado. This will be released on February 2nd, and it follows Charlie Vega. She wants a good relationship with her body, but it's hard, especially with her mother, who leaves a billion weight loss shakes in her dresser. This is a story about relationships with our parents, our bodies, and cultures, and ourselves. This Once Upon a Time, a Quinceañera by Monica Gomez Hera, and it will be released on March 2nd. It is set in Miami. Carmen Aguilar's summer consists of an unpaid summer internship, which forces her to help plan her cousin Ariana's extravagant quinceañera. And if things couldn't get any worse, her dance partner is Mauro Reyes, the ex she regrets the most. Is it going to be the summer of disasters, or will Carmen get her happily ever after? Next is Somewhere Between Bitter and Sweet by Laycan C. Kemp, and this will be released on April 6th. It follows Penelope, who has dreamed of opening her own pasteleria and next to her father's restaurant. But her parents have different plans, so now she has to decide whether she wants to disappoint her Mexican-American parents or following her own path. This would be a really good book for you if you have read I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. The next one is One of the Good Ones. By Micah and Marissa Moolite. It's going to be released on January 5th, and it explores loss, sisterhood, activism, and what it means to be an ally. Okay, next books, they're going to be in the fiction genre. First one is Mine Is Me by Mamiv Medwed. This will be released on January 12th. Follows Annie and her husband, who are owners of a gourmet sandwich shop. In their marriage comes the scary diagnosis of Annie and the overwhelming challenge of finding a way to help Sam go on without her. Next is Infinite Country by Patricia Engel, and this will be released on February 23rd. It follows Elena and Myro, who meet when they are teenagers, and their blooming love an antidote to the mounting brutality of life in Bogota. Once their first daughter is born and facing grim economic prospects, they set their sights to the United States. So it will be taking place in Colombia, and they will be immigrating to the United States. Next is What's Mine Is and Yours by Naima Koster. This will be released on March 2nd. Community in North Carolina who rises in outrage as a county initiative draws students from the largely black east side of town into predominantly white high schools on the west. Next genre is adult fantasy. The first one is No Gods, No Monsters by Cadwell Turnbull. We released on September 7th, so it is a while until it's released, but trust me, it's very interesting. On one October morning, Lena gets the news that her brother was shot and killed by Boston cops, but what looks like a case of police brutality soon reveals something much stranger. Monsters are real and they want everyone to know it. Now this book I really want to read. Okay, the next book is Folklore by Angela Mi Young Her, and this will be released on April 27th, and it is a genre-defying, continent-spanning saga of Korean myth, scientific discovery, and the abiding love that binds even the most broken families. Next one is a horror YA novel, and it is called What Big Teeth by Rose Sabo, and it will be released on February 2nd. I love the freaking cover because it seems very spooky and scary. Next genre is historical fiction, A Woman of Intelligence by Karen Townaby, and this will be released on July 20th, and it is a tale of post-war New York City. Katharina, daughter of immigrants, single girl in 1940s Manhattan, marries a pediatric surgeon and is trapped in a gilded cage. Desperate to escape the constraints of domesticity, she is then approached by the FBI and asked to join the ranks as an informant. This is Hades, Argentina by Daniel Lodel. This will be released on January 12th. This is Of Woman and Salt by Gabriela Garcia. This is a book that I actually really want to read. And in present-day Miami, Jeanette is battling addiction. She is daughter of Carmen, a Cuban immigrant, and she is determined to learn more about her family history from her mother and makes the snap decision to take in the daughter of a neighbor detained by ICE. Book is The Art of Falling by Catherine Kraft. It will be released on January 28th. It follows Penny, who has always wanted to dance, and when that chance is taken from her, it pushes to the brink of despair from which she might never return. When she wakes up after a traumatic fall, bruised and battered but miraculously alive, Penny must confront the memories that have haunted her for years, using her love of movement to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. I love dance. I used to dance like a while back. I was also in my high school's dance team. In college, I just stopped dancing, so this one I'm very interested to read. This one is a mystery crime. It is called The Coffin Maker's Garden by Stuart, released on January 7th. Next is a romance fiction. It is Love Almost by Haley Doyle. It will be released on January 7th, and it follows Chloe, who is in love for the very first time, but when Jack, her boyfriend, is killed in an accident. Their relationship was amazing, but they never had the chance to get started. He is grieving, but she's very determined to live life for the both of them and makes her way through the list of things that they planned to do together. Next is a fiction LGBT contemporary, which will be released on January 12th. Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. Debut about three women who are transgender and cisgender. Lives collide after an unplanned pregnancy, which forces them to confront their deepest desires around gender, motherhood, and sex. Last ones are nonfiction. I do like reading nonfiction once in a while, and the first one is Dog Flowers by Danielle Geller. This will be released on January 12th, and it's a memoir nonfiction, and it follows a daughter who returns home to the Navajo reservation to confront her family's troubled history and retrace her mother's life using both narrative and archive in this unforgettable and heart-wrenching memoir. Troubled, the failed promise of America's behavioral treatment programs. It will be released on January 12th, and each year thousands of young adults deemed out of control, suffering from depression, addiction, anxiety, and rage, and they are carted off against their will to remote wilderness programs and treatment facilities across the country. Desperate parents of these troubled teens fear it's their only option. The private, largely unregulated behavioral boot camps break their children down. Damnation, the children suffer forever. And the last book is The Soul of a Woman by Isabel Allende. It will be released on March 2nd. As a child, she watched her mother, abandoned by her husband, provide for her three small children without resources or voice. Isabel became a fierce and defiant little girl determined to fight for the life her mother couldn't have. They're all amazing books with amazing authors, and I'm just so excited for the new year to get my hands on them. And yeah, comment down below what's your most anticipated read for the next year, for the new year. I would love to know. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.